Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel, Craigz Horror House, the channel that delves into anything horror, old and new. And today I am going to be reviewing the highly anticipated movie of the year, Five Nights at Freddy's. Now I did do a trailer reaction video. If you haven't already seen that, then I will leave a link at the top of this video somewhere right now for you guys to go and check out. But the big question is, was this movie worth the hype? Look, I'm going to be honest with you, I have mixed feelings on this movie. There are moments that I loved, I thought they were great, moments that were, okay, but there were also moments where I was a little bit bored. So let's go over what Five Nights at Freddy's is all about, and then I'm going to do my positives, mixed and negatives on the film. So Five Nights at Freddy's is based off a very popular game that I did actually play once, and that was enough for me. I love horror movies, but I don't do very well in horror games. Maybe it's because I am the one in control, I don't know, but the game is famous, especially for its jump scares. The movie mainly follows a guy called Mike, played by Josh Hutcherson, and his little sister Abby, played by Piper Rubio. Now Mike, he is this troubled young guy who pretty early on in the movie we learn that he definitely he's had some sort of trauma that has happened to him in his past. It's just him and his little sister who he looks after. Now their parents, they don't seem to be around, and we do learn much later on in the movie that his mum died and his father couldn't cope, so I'm assuming that his dad left the family and basically wrote himself off. But the biggest mystery in this movie is when Mike was a child himself. Now, he actually had a younger brother called Garrett, and while they were camping and having a picnic in the woods with the whole family, Mike's mum, she ended up asking him to go and keep an eye on Garrett while she went to the car to get something to clean up some, spillage that a drink had been knocked over, basically. So when Mike went over to check on Garrett, he found that Garrett had actually disappeared and had been kidnapped by someone. Now, Mike did see that, Garrett was in the back of this car, and he saw the car driving away, and then Mike, he starts chasing the car, but bear in mind, guys, at this stage, Mike is just a little child. Now, if you fast forward to the current day, adult Mike is taking these sleeping aids to keep on having dreams about that very moment of the kidnap, in order to try and see if there was anything that he missed and anything that, might give him a clue into what happened, who took his brother, and is his brother still alive? Because it turns out that the kidnapper was never found, and neither was Garrett. So this is the trauma that Mike has, and we learned that he has had trouble holding down a job, and he's looking after his younger sister, so he needs the money, and he's also got this aunt who is a real bitch, by the way. She wants to get custody of the sister, Abby, so Mike ends up taking this security job at the infamous Five Nights at Freddy's restaurant, which is, of course, closed down, but people, they still keep trying to break in there. Of course, we have the famous Five Nights at Freddy's characters. I think we got Freddy Fazbear himself, we got Golden Freddy, Chica, Bonnie, and all of the others. I can't remember all of them, so apologies on that, but they're all there. And there's also this scary rabbit guy who is the one in charge of all of the characters, and we learned that this rabbit guy is a very, very bad man. We learned that the Freddy's place ended up closing down way back, I think it was in the 80s, when a load of children went missing, and their bodies were never ever found. Now, the owner of Freddy's, he doesn't want the place to be knocked down, and he wants to keep it for nostalgia, and this is why Mike is then hired as this security guy. Now, I don't want to give any major, massive spoilers away, but by the end of the movie, we do learn what happened to Mike's little brother, Garrett, and we do learn what happened to the group of missing children as well. And I won't tell you what happened, you'll have to watch the movie for that, but this, the whole film is scattered around this mystery, and sometimes that can be quite a risky thing to do in a movie, because there is always that risk that the big reveal at the end of the movie won't pay off. Now, did it pay off in this film? I'm a little bit 50-50 on it. I mean, it was a cool reveal, little bit predictable, and it didn't really blow me away, but it was good. There was only, okay, I'll admit, there was one thing that made me go, oh shit, during the reveal, but it was nothing major, but it was cool. So let's get on to some positives. Okay, I really enjoyed the opening and the credits. I mean, as soon as the opening credits rolled with that kind of old style 80s horror theme, I just loved it. Anyone who knows me and watches me on this channel will know that I love a really good soundtrack to a horror film. It's just heaven for me, and even better when it has that old school vibe. I really liked Josh's character of Mike. I thought he did a really good job. I mean, it wasn't anything spectacular, but I enjoyed following his story. He's very easy on the eye as well. Now, his little sister Abby, I did find her a little bit annoying at certain parts of the movie, but that's just kids for you. I enjoyed the whole mystery storyline of like, what the hell has happened to these missing kids? Where are they taking you with this story? It did keep me quite intrigued. I was very interested in learning what happened. The animatronics of the characters themselves were fantastic. It makes a huge, massive change that there is no CGI in this horror movie. At least I didn't spot any, but that is always a plus for me. I don't think CGI, look, CGI has a place and it's not in horror films. It shouldn't be in horror films. So well done to the guys behind this movie for keeping the CGI away. Okay, my mixed points now is probably the jump scares, the lack of gore as well. If you're a big gore fan, then you're probably not going to enjoy this movie as much as you want to. This movie was clearly aimed at a younger horror audience, if you understand me. Think of the original Gremlins, but a little bit more scarier, a little bit more blood. But there is, you know, a little bit of blood, but no more than your average, say, action film. Most of the kills are off screen, or you tend to see the shadow of someone being killed. For example, there's a scene where a character is pulled into, you know, like inside one of the animatronics. I think it was in one of the trailers, and the camera cuts away, and then you see the shadow of the person, and you see the body being pulled in half, like through the eyes of the shadow. It's very much like that in terms of the kills throughout the movie. But with the jump scares, I will be honest with you, none of them made me jump. I found some of them to be a little bit silly at times, but then I did have to keep reminding myself that this film doesn't, you know, it isn't really aimed for the hardcore horror fans. I just had to keep reminding myself that, you know, just have a good time with this one, and I did. But it is a little bit of a shame just because, you know, Five Nights at Freddy's is famous for its game with the jump scares. There's a little twist towards the end of the film of who this bad rabbit man is, and it was an okay reveal. Again, nothing massively spectacular, but it was okay. My negatives on this movie may seem a little bit trivial to some people, but these are my negatives, okay? So there is a moment where Mike and the police officer, the female police officer Max, they end up leaving the younger sister Abby alone with these animatronics. While basically at this part of the movie, the animatronics, they're appearing to be friendly towards Abby, the young girl, but these things are huge and very heavy, and it's just asking for, you know, an accident to happen. They physically like leave the room, you know, Mike and Max, they leave and they go into another room and they just leave this little girl alone with them all. So it just felt a little bit unrealistic because the writers are trying to get us to buy into the tragic story, yeah, of Mike's younger brother Garrett being kidnapped. And it's a good story. I mean, I'm hooked. I believe it. And then at the same time, they're expecting the audience to believe that Mike would leave his little sister alone with these huge characters who are dangerous. Bearing in mind, his little sister, his only living family member that he has. Yeah, I wasn't really overwhelmed by the final showdown, which is why I'm putting this in my negative pile. It felt a little bit flat, in my opinion. I think, do you know what? I think the reason for that is because they were aiming this at a younger horror audience, and they did the best that they could. It's not terrible, but it was just not for me. I found it a little bit boring. I was expecting more, and yeah, it was just bland. But all in all, this is a really good movie. It's not fantastic, it's not spectacular, but it's good. good. It didn't blow me away, but it didn't disappoint me either. As I've said, there are some really good points and there are some bad points, so there's a good mixed bag in my opinion. But will I be rushing to go back and rewatch this movie? Well, I will probably watch it again at least once in the next 6 to 12 months, but then after that, probably not. I've got to be honest with you guys. I have a feeling it's going to be one of those movies where if it just happens to be on TV, like on Sky Movies or Paramount or something like that, and I just happen to catch it when I'm flicking through on a Sunday afternoon, then I probably will just put it on and watch it. But it won't be a film that I'm going to rush out to the shops and buy on Blu-ray when it's released. It's going to be a very special kind of horror movie to end up in Craig's Blu-ray collection. But that's enough of me babbling on. I want to hear some of your thoughts and opinions on this movie. Now, I know Five Nights at Freddy's has a huge die-hard fan base, so guys, do not hold back. Let me know all of your opinions, good or bad, in the comments box below, and I will respond to every single one of them. Right then guys, thank you all for watching today's video. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, stay safe out there, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.